Hello and welcome to Desktop Experts. I'm here today for the first proper day of revenue service on the Ellenbrook line. So I got into Perth at about 6 something in the morning. As you can see, the train indicator signs are not working. 3 lines share that platform: Airport line, Midland line and the new Ellenbrook line.
This is where one line splits to the airport and the other splits to Ellenbrook.
Next station, Bayswater. Then all stations to Ellenbrook.
I actually worked on this.
For airport and Midland line services.
Now, this station cost over $400 million to build.
For the tiny number of people who use this, it's an extraordinary amount of money to spend. It's a beautiful station, but it's been not gold plated, but rather made out of gold. For the amount of passengers that this station will get, it could have really used with some better value engineering.
This is Bayswater. Change here for airport and Midland line services.
Okay, most people that were on the train got off the train here at Bayswater. There's probably only 10 people on the train now.
Okay, so the Ellenbrook service uses the centre 2 platforms, and then we go onto this flyover, which flies us over the out Midland track and then over Railway Parade, and then we dip down and we enter the median of the Tonkin Highway. So the train comes out of that trench and it's in the middle of the freeway median, and as you can see, we are shaving. That's a car on a freeway and we're just leaving it for dead. Now we go onto Collier Road and then we proceed about another kilometre and we're at the first new station, which is Morley, and that is located under Broome Avenue.
Now there's some pretty major destinations in Morley, but obviously using the freeway median you've managed to skillfully avoid all the destinations.
Now I'll quickly just skip through all the stations. On the way back I got out at each station and filmed a bit of a walk around. Okay, so we pull out of Morley and we start racing the traffic again. As you can see, to the west of the tracks, pretty low density suburbs. I'll spin around, a train passes, not many on it. Now that's the traffic people are up against when they're heading south if they live in Ellenbrook. If you look out that side of the train, there's hardly anything out there, pretty low density suburbs.
Alright, here's Noranda station. No one here, but a train did just go past. City bound. Wasn't many people on it, however. Okay, so this is where the Reed Highway comes in. This new railway probably should have followed that up. There's massive destinations up there, huge shopping centres, office parks. The entire northern suburbs of Perth. Could have intersected some of the busiest roads in Perth and collected all their bus passengers. And this is another massive industrial estate.
Okay, so I totally missed getting footage of Badura station. It's just a park and ride out pretty much in the middle of nowhere. From here, the catchment is pretty one-sided. One side is the Metropolitan Regional Park or Whiteman Park. The other side's just vacant farmland, which will probably be developed in the near future. Okay, so here we are pulling into Whiteman Park station. You can see a little tramway there. That takes guests into the middle of the park where there's a tramway museum and picnic spots and lakes and everything. Quite a nice place. So as we head out of Whiteman Park station and we look to the east, we can see there's a new suburb of Brabham over there. Major road to cross. Pretty wide easement, but there's some new development out there, pretty low density, pretty horrible urban development actually, lots of black roofs so close together there'll never be any trees for shade. To the southeast of the station there's a big vacant block that used to be an Air Force base, and that connects to the suburb of Dayton, so hopefully some higher density properties can be built in there.
Okay, here's the main street of Ellenbrook. You wouldn't really call it a main street. It's a bit of a faux town centre. It's got the high school down that end, big indoor shopping centre there.
So the developers were pretty much dragged kicking and screaming to build a town centre. So a lot of these buildings, the second floor, Doesn't even have anything in it. It's just there to try to give the street a bit of feel. If the developers had their way, they just would have built a big indoor shopping centre with a big car park all the way around it.
You build it and they will come, and they're building plenty of stuff. It's not a very good location though. The main reason that this area was chosen is because it's on the white sand, so it was not suitable for farming. It was just low value scrub, and it's also very low amenity. It's not close to the beach, it's not close to anything.
Okay, so I wasn't able to film the approach into Ellenbrook station, pretty unremarkable, but I'll just go around the amenities around the immediate vicinity of the station. So we've got a massive park and ride there. I think it's $2 a day. And to the side here we've got a bike shed. Now biking to the station's not well promoted in Australia. We've got these sheds, one person's taken up the offer to park there. I think you've got to register your smart rider to get access to that shed. But a lot of bike theft goes on in Australia. But if you pull around the side, there's about 6 people who have just chained their bikes up to bollards. Okay, so scooting over to the west side of the station, you can see another bike cage. No one in this one. There's a flash bike chained up there. They should use the cage. And a bus comes in with only 2 people on it. Okay, here's the bus terminal. About 8 bus bays there. There was plenty of buses going around Ellenbrook. Not a lot of passengers, however. Just north of the station, this big wide easement extends north towards Bullsbrook. Space for a possible extension in the future.
So here's the roof. It's pretty fancy. The fact that they've built this bit of the station at the front probably means they've got no plans to extend it north anytime soon. Here's the actual map. Disappointingly, this bit through here, which is very popular, is closed down at the moment for this rebuild that's been done in a very disruptive manner.
Okay, so I lighted at Whiteman Park station. You can see the roof and ceilings are spectacular, and they're like that in every station. There's this big concourse. This station is inexplicably built up on a big concrete bridge at no expense spared to the taxpayer, poor old taxpayer, and the entrance is to the west. So most of the passengers will be coming by bus or by private car. Okay, so as we step out of the southeast of the station, we can see a bike cage, this one quite well used, and as we spin around we can see more car parks, and that little shelter's something interesting. Okay, so a northbound train goes past. It had a few people on it. Then I'll go over here. This is the Whiteman Park tramway extension, the Perth Electric Tramways Society, their corporate sponsors. Now this will be used to access the park. Now as I pan around, you can see the massive car park, or parkade as they say in Canada, and that's the station's roof. Spectacular. Okay, so I've alighted at Badura station to check out the park and ride, but first check out that roof and ceiling. Spectacular. A lot of standardised design elements throughout the 4 stations, but I don't think it saved any money because this railway cost over $1 billion to build, and it's going through some very low value land like the freeway median. So there is an exit to the west side of the station, even though there's nothing there. There is a bike path that leads over the main road, if you can see that green bridge there. And there was someone at the cage reading the T's and C's. Maybe they'll go home and get on the internet and register their smart rider so they can park their bike there. Here's another impressive roof and canopy arrangement as you head up from the platforms at Badura. Here we are on the concourse level. Beautiful facilities at every station, as you'd expect on a new railway. Okay, out through the fare gates, and you can see to the west side there's a way out, but nothing there yet. And you can see that bike track leads to a new bridge over the road. Beautiful little bit of garden there in the front of the station. Okay, so another bus terminal, same layout as all the others. And as we spin around, we see more car parking, and we see the kiss and ride. And we can see there's a factory about 500 metres away. That's the only thing within walking distance at this stage. Okay, here's the kiss and ride zone. When they first built new stations in Perth in the middle of the freeway, they were a bit underwhelmed with the bus patronage that they predicted, and a lot more people than they expected arrived by kiss and ride. Okay, so in every direction from this station there's lots of vacant land to redevelop. In between Badura and Noranda, I just got some footage of the train absolutely rollicking past some cars on the freeway. Okay, here we are at Noranda station. Look at all that traffic. Now, this traffic really doesn't head towards the city. It's probably just skirting the city in between industrial zones on the east side. Okay, so I exit up the stairs and I find this lovely concourse and I tag out, and then I find that it does have a way out to the main street, so you can walk in from the western side, which is the suburb of Noranda. Down Badura Road to the east is the suburbs of Beachboro and Lockridge, once famous for their boganism, but maybe this railway will gentrify the suburb. At the bottom of this hill, but fully grade separated from the traffic, there are 2 bus stops on Badura Road. You can see single family homes, very low density. When they opened new metro stations in Sydney, a lot of the nearby residents did a sell together agreement and sold their properties for millions, and then higher density properties could be built. So this station's at the crossroads of a pretty major bike track network that'll lead you pretty much all the way into Perth along the railway track. I've just spotted this bike cage, 2 people using it, but as you know, it's the first day, so people will learn how to use this system and hopefully it gets more use in the future. Okay, so this little circle's for train replacement buses. So every station had drinking fountains, none of the stations had a shop. Now, I was very surprised that Morley and Noranda stations appeared to have the least amount of passengers out of all stations. Perhaps in time their travel behaviour will change and these stations will become successful. But we are bearing in mind that it is only the first day of operations.
Alright, so here we are at Morley. Now Morley is different to the other stations in the fact that it's built underneath a massively wide traffic bridge. So a lot of people were getting out of the train and wasn't obvious how to get out of the station. Multi-level parking structure there. Very high value land uses beside, storage centre, and hardly anyone using this station. It's the first time today that the train indication boards have been working properly. They must have got their issues from earlier sorted out. No one in that multi-storey car park. They cost about $100,000 a space when Transperth builds them, maybe more. Alright, plenty of staff around, ticket machines.
Got a board there telling you where all the relevant bus services leave.
Oh, so that's why that road bridge I thought is incredibly wide, and this is why. It was rebuilt when they redid the freeway. Actually, they knocked the existing bridge down to build this one, and it's wide. That's a very wide main road, and we've added probably an extra 20 metres of width to it by building this bus interchange. Now it's a bus interchange where the buses have to deviate into. Probably not the best design if you're walking along the eastbound carriageway. Now just down there is one of Perth's biggest shopping centres. It's maybe 1 kilometre away, but had to use this cheap alignment through the freeway. It would have been very expensive to push through the suburbs over there. Yeah, I probably would have preferred that the eastbound buses left from there and the westbound buses left from here, but I wasn't consulted on the design. A lot of bus capacity with not a lot of bus passengers, but it is early days. Alright, that's the first time today that these have been working on the Ellenbrook line. There's still some technical issues. This technology normally works really well in Perth.
Okay, thank you for watching all the way to the end, and Desktop Expert enjoys bringing this content to you.